Hey Mini enthusiasts, how are you doing? Welcome back. I hope you're having a great day and I hope you're all well. So this is part 6 of the Mini Cooper S Swiftune Madgwick build, and something a bit different for today's episode. As you can see, we are filming the rebuild of the engine. So this whole episode will be engine assembly. Unfortunately, we won't be going into in-depth detail on the actual build process itself because Swiftune has been kind enough to film this footage for us. This is what Swiftune do as a living. They are an engine builder. They are industry-leading experts in doing that, and they produce the best engines in the marketplace for A-Series Minis, so we don't want to give away too many trade secrets, or I'm sure they don't want to, but it's very good of them to share the assembly of the engine here. And I like to see these valves being lapped in by hand. I know there's lots of people that argue it's quicker to drill with a oscillating drill bit, or there's other ways of doing them, but I always think, certainly on A-Series, it's only 8 valves. It doesn't take a great deal of time to do. And on something like this, where it's new valves and the valve seats will have been cut to exacting measurements, it really isn't a great deal of work to lap the valves in. But I do understand if you're doing a 16 valve head or a 20 valve, 24 valve, 32 valve, something like that, then there might be easy ways of doing it, or certainly quicker ways, but it's nice to see them ground in the old traditional way. And now the valve stem oil seals are going to go on. I've not seen this done before, maybe everyone does this, but a little bit of Loctite on the valve stem oil seals just to hold them in place. I've never done that, but yeah, something I might start doing in the future here. And obviously we're just into head assembly at the moment. Nice quick looking tool here for inserting the collets into the valve stems and compressing the valve springs at the same time. Look how quick and easy that was, although it doesn't seem to work every time. Now, I will apologise in advance. So like I've said on previous videos, the footage you're seeing here is the first time Mark will have seen the footage, so he doesn't review this footage before he sends it to me. And pretty much the first time I see it, I'll do a bit of time lapsing, and as I narrate through it, that's pretty much the first I've seen of the footage as well. So thanks to Swiftune for filming all these bits of footage for us. They really didn't have to, but we asked them and they obliged. It's very kind of them. And yeah, thanks for letting us see going through the engine assembly process, because there's lots of engine builders out there that wouldn't let you do that and can be very protective. But again, I just think it's a testament to their professionalism, their openness and honesty. As I've mentioned in previous videos, it's always nice to look at what's going on in the background of the videos at Swiftune as well. So Swiftune build engines for historic race cars, things like Appendix K cars that do things like the Goodwood Revival, and I think the Revival, which is coming up, I think it's this weekend or the weekend afterwards, there's 30 cars in the main race. 24 of them have Swiftune engines in them, so that just goes to show how popular they are. I can't give all the tech specs on this engine because, quite honestly, I'm not even sure Mark knows at the moment. I can tell you roughly what it is. So it's a 1380 A-Series block and head. I think it's going to have an SW5 cam in it. As you can see, they're standard rockers on there. So this is not an all-out race engine like the engine would be in Project Bolt, which was a track car. This is a road car, so it's going to have like a fast road build Obviously electronic distributor there, and as you can see, the head has obviously had a lot of work done to it. Bigger valves on it, ported, polished, all that good stuff. Now, bit of a news: if you're subscribed to the channel, or if you're not, please do consider subscribing, hitting that bell notification so you get updated of upcoming videos. We have another giveaway coming up on the channel for you viewers. So I was contacted by a company called Creative Covers, who make, amongst other things and other products they do, they make full car covers for classic Minis. And it just so happens I needed one at the time. So what we've agreed is they've sent me a cover. I'm going to do a bit of an evaluation and a video on it. If it's good, which I'm sure it will be, there'll be one up for grabs for a viewer, subscriber of the channel. So there'll be details in an upcoming video, probably in the next couple of weeks, giving a bit of detail on that cover and how you could win one for your car, which is quite timely actually, because we're just getting into that time of the year where we're into autumn, winter's coming up soon, show season's not got long to go now, and we'll be looking at putting those Minis back under covers or back into storage. Some people obviously drive them all year round. So this is quite interesting. You don't get to see this all the time. We're inside the dyno cell at Swiftune here. I'm not sure if they've got more than one dyno cell. I'm sure they probably have. But this is where they'll run all the engines they build through their paces, tune them up, make sure they're all running as they should do and performing as they should do, tweak them, fettle them, and ensure they're getting the best out the engines before they shipped off. So like I say, Swiftune build most of the engines for the historic race series Appendix K cars, classic Mini touring cars, and those engines will come back to Swiftune each year to be rebuilt, and they'll go through the dyno, and just to ensure that they're running at optimal settings. So as you can see here, the ancillary items are part of the dyno itself. So you might notice there's no fan blade on the water pump, and the water pump's not turning. That is because it's connected to the dyno. The dyno has its own cooling system, so it will be pumping coolant throughout the engine. There's also various different sensors connected to the engine, which they'll monitor in the dyno booth on the gauges and the computers, just to make sure everything is running as it should be with the engine, make sure nothing's going wrong. Things like air-fuel ratios, knock detection, all of that sort of stuff. So like I say, you don't get to see all this all the time, but I always find it quite interesting. And the purpose of this really, like I say, is to get the engine running, get it all running, get it set up before it goes in the car. And also the engine is partially running here as well. And this will give us a reading of flywheel horsepower, so the dyno is connected direct to the flywheel. So the power taken is not, the power readings are not taken after the gearbox. So if you have it dynoed on a rolling road, a compensation is made to account for those frictional losses, but this is read directly off the end of the flywheel, which is arguably the most accurate way of dynoing an engine. So the initial crank in there, as you can actually see the oil going up the capillary tube there to the oil pressure gauge. Obviously it's got oil pressure, just getting oil pumped around the engine and making it sure it's okay before the first engine start. Next up, it will just be a run through of the tappets now the engine's turned over, just to make sure they're all set correctly. Looks like a little quick bit of balancing of the carburetors there. I'm assuming that's probably a flow meter on the back of each carb, just to measure the amount of airflow going into each carburetor to get them balanced. Now I do apologise, the footage is obviously a little bit longer, but I've sped it up there. But obviously they're just going through, making sure the timing is correct, the mixture's correct, and getting it all dialed in. Now we're in the dyno booth and sort of keep a close eye on the gauges. So it doesn't look like that was specifically a power run to see what the maximum power output of the engine was there, but from what I could see there, it was around about 99 brake horsepower, might have been a little bit more. It did seem to peak at 102 and around about 100 foot-pounds of torque as well, which is, I think, probably as to be expected. I might have been a little bit optimistic on the engine power outputs when I spoke about them in the earlier episodes, because I was sort of basing that on a 1380 sort of full race engine, but That doesn't look like the spec we've got here. It's more of a 1380 road engine, and I guess for the first sort of runs on a dyno to see what looked to be pretty much 100 brake horsepower is going to be quite impressive and really drivable on the road. So the engine's moved into final assembly now, where all the ancillary items will go on. A manual engine like this, you can put it back in the car with pretty much all the ancillary items on. I've done a few automatics now, and it does help with them to leave some bits off the engine, but on a Mark 1 Mini like this there is loads of room in the engine bay. And I've not reviewed the footage of the engine going back in the car yet, but again, I'm sure they'll make it look very, very easy and just drop it in. So as we come to the last part of the video, the rest of this is just engine assembly, so I think I'll leave you here just with some music and no commentary to end the video. I'll try and pick some music which is not too annoying to some people. I know it's always difficult for me to find music to put in the videos. You can't please everyone. But there is always a volume button if you don't like it. So thanks for tuning back in again this week. We do have some more footage ready to go on the Madgwick, and as I'm doing this commentary tonight, it's not quite finished, but it is very nearly finished. Hopefully it'll be ready in time for the Goodwood revival, but we will see. Thanks for tuning in again this week. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, please do consider subscribing. Hit that bell notification button and keep an eye out on the videos, because like I say, we'll be doing another giveaway soon, and I always like to give something back to the viewers, so something for you. So all the best and catch up again soon.